the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California. It's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Start 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, welcome to Bout That Life podcast. I'm your host, Coach C. Collins. I know normally Mark would be here, but he's not here. He hasn't been able to make it. Been a little busy. So I'm going to hold it down and try to keep this thing going. I'm trying to get some more guest co-hosts with Coach Ted and Marcus Kirkland, so I'm hoping to get those guys on pretty soon. Other than that, though, I know I haven't done an episode in a long time, so I'm just trying to hold it down for you guys who've been asking and wanting to get more information out there. Remember, on About That Life podcast, we're talking a little bit of AAU life and basketball and just a little bit of politics, a little bit of social commentary, but mainly geared towards hoop and the culture of basketball. So if you feel so inclined and you stopping by, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Before I get into that, let me give a shout out to my sponsors, Dr. Dish, best shooting machine on the market. If you're looking for a top-notch shooting machine, go ahead and hit them up. Tell them About That Life sent you. Also, Hardwood Palace. If you're looking for AAU tournaments, rec league tournaments, things that are pretty consistent, go ahead and hit them up. They're based out of Rockland, California, where we are based at. My AAU program, YBA, Youth Basketball Academy. So feel free to hit them up. Hit Steve or Grant up. They'll get you started, get you guys going in. Now, let's get to today's topic and today's episode. So I got a guest as usual. I've known this guy quite a while. We've played in a lot of men's leagues against each other and kind of just grew up together out here in Sacramento. He's doing some great work. You know, you guys know me. I'm big on getting black owners out here and entrepreneurs and successful black men. That is a big deal to me because I think that needs to be more pushed on the forefront because there seems to be sometimes a narrative that there's not a lot of brothers out there doing some positive things, and you'd be surprised how many are actually out there. So I wanted you guys to get a chance to see him, meet him, hear his journey, and, go from there, share his story and say his truth. So I want to introduce you guys, Steav Jordan. Thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get right into it. Tell the people, we're on YouTube, so obviously people going to see it. There's the audio side. I'm everywhere. People going to see it. So tell them who you are. Tell them about your basketball journey and tell them your background. Give me a little quick rundown.
Okay. Man, I'm from Fresno, so come from
shout out Jalen Green.
Yeah, Jalen Green, Quincy Ponder,
right.
Lopez twins, a lot of guys from Fresno. Aaron Haynes, who's also here.
Yeah.
Came up, went to Sac City. I played high school basketball at Central High School in Fresno.
All right.
Actually played 2 years at McLean and then 2 years at Central.
Okay.
Fresno basketball culture is different. There's always somewhere to play. So growing up, all we did was play. Pick up, we were at parks. They closed this gym, kick us out of this gym. We're on our way down the street to the next one.
Nice.
So we were just always hooping. We really loved hoop. AAU wasn't huge.
Right.
Back then, we did have Ebo. We had Motsboro there.
Yeah, I know Ebo. Yeah.
So we had an Ebo team. I played on the Ebo team. It wasn't like a regular thing like how AAU is now.
Right.
At least for me, it wasn't.
Right.
It was like tournament. We're going to this tournament. You're going to come play with the B team or, that year, that AAU team had Carlos Boozer.
Nice.
A guard, Coop Taylor, Charlie Rodriguez, kid. They had a
right.
Deshaun Stevenson.
Everybody's listening. Hear how old we are now.
Yeah, Chris Jeffries. All these guys ended up going pro and doing a lot with basketball. So they were really like the headliners. I was just a guy on the team, lucky to be along for the ride on some of that stuff.
Hey, you were on the team, man.
But yeah, man, I loved it. Basketball was something that I really liked to do. Played basketball and baseball. And my junior year, I transferred to another high school because I started getting some interest.
Right.
So it was like, okay, got to get out of this school and get to a place where I can get some development and things like that. So I transferred and went to a different high school. And things went good for me there.
Good.
I had a good little run there. I had some looks out of high school. I was really good academically.
Yeah.
My mom was a teacher when I was growing up, and she worked at my school, and so she didn't like.
That is important because enough kids don't put an emphasis on grades these days.
Right. My mom didn't take,
Right.
She didn't take nothing less than a B, so I didn't have a choice. So, I was good academically. I had a redshirt opportunity out of high school at a 4-year, and my dad got sick.
Okay.
So my dad started having heart issues, so I decided not to go. I stayed home for a year. I went to Fresno City.
Okay.
I gray shirted there.
Just quick question with that too. During that time, was Vance Wahlberg out there at that time, or was he?
Yeah. No, he wasn't there yet. It was Coach I. It was Coach I.
Yeah.
It was Wahlberg came right after that. But he was coaching at Clovis West.
Okay, that's why I was just trying to get the timelines. Yeah.
They beat us my senior year in the Valley Championship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they had the 22-year-old.
Right.
Dunking on everybody. Yeah.
Shoot.
So, yeah, that Wahlberg was there. So I went to Fresno City, gray shirted there. They had a load of talent. They had guys from New York. There was maybe 3 local guys on that team.
Okay.
Everybody was from New York.
Yeah.
Florida. Like
so they recruited.
These dudes were 23.
Right.
We're coming fresh out of high school. So I was gray shirting on that team. And then I had a friend that was down here at Sac City, and he was going to school. I think he was going to play football at the time. And we came up here, hung out with him, went to the Sac City Open Gym, and we played.
Yeah.
The coach Jones, he was real young.
Coach,
he was cool.
Jones been there forever, man.
He coached me, so he was real young. He was cool. We liked it, and me and my buddy Aaron, we played together. And being from Fresno, we had never been anywhere,
right?
So we came here. It was like a vacation. It was like we got in the car going home. We went to a frat party at Davis.
Nice.
On Black Family Day.
Oh shoot, man.
We coming.
Yeah.
back.
I remember those days, bro.
So yeah, we loved it, and we were on the way home, and I was like, man, I'm coming back. He's like, I'm coming back too. Like, the coach said we can play. We're coming back. So I ended up talking to the coaches at Fresno City, letting them know I was going to be,
going to Sac City,
transferring to Sac City. Came down that next school year, and man, the rest is pretty much history. After that, played 2 years at Sac City. Walked on at Portland State.
Nice.
Halfway through the year, well, initially as soon as I got there, the AD got fired.
Oh,
normally when the AD gets fired,
the coaches are next. Yeah.
Halfway through the season, the basketball coach got fired. He went to be an assistant at Fresno State. Coach Schroyer, Heath Schroyer. And back then I was young. I get to play at Fresno State. He recruited me.
Right. You thinking like I'm going there.
It wasn't like that.
Okay.
so I ended up staying at Portland, finished like throughout the first semester, I believe January. And the new coach was like,
you're out.
You like 15 right now on our list. And
right.
So I called Coach Jones at Sac City, and I'm like, Coach, what other schools? What else? He's like, well, you had Western Oregon, you got San Francisco State, you got these schools. So I got on the phone immediately and started calling schools and trying to see what I can do. And San Francisco State, I ended up going, talking to coach there and going back to San Francisco State. And just being in the situation that I was in, I was really good academically.
Yeah.
So I didn't need to keep staying in school.
Right.
I was a sociology major, went to San Francisco State. They didn't have that major, so I had to major in social science.
Okay.
So I ended up double majoring in the process, finishing up school, played a little bit, did a lot of trying out.
Yeah.
A lot of journeyman.
Yeah. I've been there, brother.
A lot of camps, some CBA stuff, some ABA stuff, some USBL stuff,
right?
Just a lot of stuff like that. And then I got sick, started having some heart issues.
Oh,
and,
man.
And 2007 was the first time I started having some issues like heart, real serious stuff. 2007, 2008, and I started dealing with that. had some complications from some of the surgeries that I had. Ended up getting some scar tissue.
Oh, wow.
Scar tissue ended up developing a mass. The mass ended up having some cancer in it.
Oh, wow.
Attached to some other parts of my body. Ended up going through a pretty tough road as far as health-wise.
Yeah.
Basketball wasn't really an option anymore.
Right. Well, I'm glad you're here, brother.
Yeah. Basketball wasn't really an option anymore at a point. I had to, give up those hoop dreams and get healthy. Still kind of attack things like an athlete. You know what I mean? I'm doing what they tell me I can't do. And
right.
The doctor said you can't do this. You shouldn't eat this. You
right,
shouldn't do
right.
that. So I wasn't really, behaving the way I should have in the beginning. So I had a lot of issues that led to that. But when I got done with chemo the first time, I started AAU. I had Zachary and Ryan Chappelle.
Yeah.
Zach plays at Sac State. Their parents, my godparents, when I moved here from Sacramento, they just took me in. And,
nice.
In 2000, and they kind of were there for me. Anything I needed, they,
right.
Any holidays that we couldn't get home,
they had your back.
Yeah. So it was. I always trained the boys.
Right.
And they had a team called the Sacramento Panthers, and their dad was like, "You want to coach?" And I was like, "All right, I'll coach." And it was me and him initially, and before you know it, he kind of let me coach and let me take over, just kind of teaching me the way. And then I got sick, and then I took that break. When I got done with that, they were like, "We want to play again," and Ryan was 8th grade, Zach was 5th grade.
All right.
And so at the time I was working out at Dave Ankram's gym with all the guys from overseas and all the pros, a lot of guys, and Gus is going to both of those facilities back
Dave
and forth.
and Gus are living legends out here right now.
Same thing, 2 different places. So you can go get some good bump at both of those places. So I was working out there, and I ended up meeting a couple Kings players. Dante Green, specifically, and he wanted to sponsor a team. He's big in the community out here, and so me and him started a foundation together, Circle of Success Foundation.
Very cool.
And excuse me, our goal was to kind of just highlight all kids. Like, we both came from the hood, and there's always stuff for hood kids. They're always this kid. The story's always the same.
Right. Very much so.
What about the kid that got a 3.8?
Right.
What about the kid whose mom and dad is at home and they don't mind bringing him to practice?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those kids still need to be have their tank filled too. So that's what we started our foundation to do, and we got we had an AAU program, and we're gonna make it a sponsored team. And so initially we were like, all right, we're gonna make this program big. Like YBA, we want to grow.
Right.
And then we decided to just concentrate it on one group.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get one team, and we're gonna stay with them from 8th grade all the way until they graduate.
Nice.
And
smart.
We're not gonna take on any other teams. We're not gonna do. We'll partner with people. We'll share players with people, but we're not gonna do multiple teams so that we could focus. We had the guys come in. We had them sign contracts, 2.5 or higher.
Nice.
GPA. We had the parents sign contracts.
No, that's good. That's good, bro.
About playing time.
Yeah.
We really
that's the way to do it.
Business. It's a fully sponsored team. This is how it's going to be. It was. We had a lot of fun. A lot of local talent from the area. Christian Terrell.
Yeah,
playing with the Stockton Kings. He played at Sac High. He played with us. Lonnie Powell ended up going up to Cal to play football.
I've heard that name. I haven't seen him.
He was
I heard that name. Yeah,
running back at Sac High. And went up to Cal to play football.
Nice.
A lot of guys, Cinco Durr. We just had a lot of guys pass through us through our program. We were called Goon Squad.
Yeah.
COS Elite. So did that for a while. Once those guys became seniors, I was done. I was like, all right,
this was fun, but
we got them out of here. Yeah. So a lot of the guys were still playing. Some of the guys weren't, and a couple of the guys, Ryan and Cinco, went up to school together in Montana.
Okay.
And wasn't the situation that the coach promised them.
Which happens.
Yeah, it happens. And there was just some things that were less than, favorable that were said about black player. As a white coach, you can only say specific things about
of
players.
course.
Some of that stuff, whether you mean it a certain way or not,
Right.
you can't say it like that. And then the whole Cali kid thing, they were kind of getting the stigma. Cali kids are soft. Cali kids always want to go back home.
Of
and
course.
stuff like that. And so,
yeah, because we don't like living in shitty places. Go figure.
right. Living and being told one thing, and you know what I mean. So, yeah. So they came back, and Cinco called me. He's like, I'm thinking about playing. He's like, I'm thinking about playing at JUCO, and I was like, well, if you're gonna play JUCO, go to Sac City.
Okay.
I went there. Coach Jones is real fair. I know he's fair. You know what I mean. He lets his guards play. I play point guard for him, so I know what type of game it is. And he's like, would you want to coach? And I'm like, man.
Do you want to go back to that work?
I didn't think about coaching again. And so I called Coach Jones. I said, hey, Coach, I got a point guard for you. And he's okay, who is he? I tell him who he is. He's like, oh, okay, I remember him from Sac High. He played a little off guard. And I'm like, yeah. I said, but he's a point guard. He's going to start for you.
Okay.
Really? All right, yeah, Coach, he played for me, played point guard for me for 4 years. He's going to start for you. He can go. He's a point guard. So Coach is like, all right, bring him in. I go, I got another question, Coach. He's like, well, I go, are you looking for any help? He goes, are we talking about you?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He's like, of course, absolutely. You know,
Nice.
So I show up, first year, coach those guys. Cinco ends up recording played ARC, he had a triple-double against ARC. And I tell Coach, I told you. This is the guy I was telling you about. Right. He struggled with injury, but he ended up getting, another scholarship going on to UC Merced to play. So it ended up working out good for him. And the next year we had our big guy, who I coached, Terry Moody, who played up at he played somewhere up there.
Yeah.
He played. He was coming to school, and so he called me and he's like, "Hey, are you gonna be going back to City again?" And I was like, "If you're coming, I'm coming." So he came in, and
so every time you get out, somebody pulls you right back in.
I was like, "You coming, Coach?" And then I started the situation I was in. I love it. Like, I could be me. I can talk to the guys the way I want to talk to them. I get to be the players' coach. I get to go when Coach, lets a player have it. I get to go sit next to him and be like, man, fuck what he talking about.
Yeah.
Listen, this is what you need to do.
Right.
And then Coach would be like, what'd you tell him? Like, I told him.
Right, exactly.
Ignore you for a minute.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we work together, but I just love the situation. It works for me. I could bring my kids, Sac City like a family. He coached me 20 years ago when I was a kid. He allows us like a lot of freedom, a lot of leeway. He gives us a lot of access. I mean, there's several times during the game where he turns around and asks us, like, what do you want to do? What should we do? Or who do you want to put in? Or we'll say, we need a shooter out there. And he'll say, for who? And we're like, I don't know, but we need a shooter out there.
He trusts his staff.
He trusts us to make those kind of decisions. So that's what led me back to coaching, and that's kind of where we got to where we are today. All
right. Well, shout out to Coach Jones. Let me give a splash for him, man. Appreciate that, dude. I know Coach Jones very well. So, and for people who might be watching or not, fully engulfed in the Sacramento basketball culture out here, there's five major JCs in the immediate area. Well, technically 6 now, I guess, with Folsom Lake. So there's 6 JCs in the junior colleges in the immediate area. When we say JC, there's American River College, there's Sierra College, there's Consumnes River, Yuba City, Folsom Lake, and, of course, Sacramento City College is where Steve and me are talking about, and just kind of knowing that culture. So just to catch you guys up in case you have no clue what we're talking about. So, but no, man, that's all good stuff. So, you talked about your career, you talked about your brief time coaching AAU. Because obviously mainly this show is geared towards that, right? Because a lot of my niche, my fan base are, the people that listen to this all throughout the country at this point, because it is pretty cool that I'm noticing through the numbers that I have a pretty consistent fan base of people who are absorbing this information. Right. What is your overall take with AAU basketball? I mean, because obviously it's evolved from when we were younger. I'm 39 years old, but it evolved from when we were younger to what it is now, where it's like, shoot.
I think utilized the right way, could be beneficial. I think that you got to be careful of the programs that you put your kids into or that you decide to support. A lot of coaches are out here for themselves. There's a lot of coaches that, like, we had a fully sponsored team, but we still had tryouts. We still had guys that Isaiah Bates, who ended up being a real big UBA basketball player, went on to get his degree and played at Bellevue. He didn't play the whole first year because he had a 2.2.
Oh, like you said, 2.5
the contract he signed was 2.5.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so just if you can have an AAU program and kind of uphold those kind of standards, I think it can be beneficial.
Well, shout out to you and doing that, because you know as well as I do, there's a lot of AAU programs, they don't give a fuck about your grades.
Oh, yeah. And we had guys coming to us saying, all right, this program wants to fly us here and here and here for this, and we kind of stuck to our grounds, which ruffled a lot of feathers in the AAU world for me, because they were like, because I told my kids, look, we're one team. You play for another team, then you play for them. I'm going to fill your spot. Right. We got somebody spending, a lot of money every year for this team, so you got to give us the same commitment.
Exactly.
So that was just kind of what we went by. We shared with our younger team, which was JT Elite.
Yeah.
So we would bounce players back and forth there. But other than that, we were one team. And so I think social media,
that's definitely changed.
Has a lot to do with it, because now everything's about how you look and how it looks and how your team
highlights,
what your record is, and how many as a coach. Some of these coaches are, didn't get to fulfill what they wanted to fulfill, and so you get this kid who looks like he could do everything you wanted to do, and you know what I mean.
You can definitely, I definitely would agree with you. You can tell the coaches who are like, they're not doing it for the sole purpose of just enjoying the game, wanting to see the kids grow. They're trying to feel something in themselves that they couldn't achieve.
Exactly.
Because you and I both know, and I'm sure you've seen enough and been around enough. We know the guys, and again, I ain't going to call nobody out, but we know the guys who actually, like, played ball and were able to make some moves with it, and the guys who just, were around basketball. You know what I'm saying?
There's a difference.
But the crazy part, they all coaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you got, when we were young, I'm close to your age. I'm a little older than you, but when I was growing up, man, the coaches knew basketball.
Yeah.
Everybody knew basketball. You can go. I mean, I'm recruiting. That's one of my main jobs at Sacramento City, is to recruit.
Yeah.
I've been in some of these high school practices, and I'm like, man,
don't know what they're doing.
And these kids are waiting on offers,
and it's crazy.
And I'm like, this development that you're doing, if this is what you guys are doing every day for the season, there's nobody in here getting an offer.
Yeah, y'all not ready.
Yeah, and so just the AAU scene, it's about finding a developmental program. Somebody, and to me, I like if my son was to play, I'm going to look for a program kind of like what I had. I want one team. I don't want a big – I understand that there's big programs and they got 6, 9U teams and 3, 4 you know what I mean?
That's
red and
that's
black
that's my program, right? That's YBA.
And that's for some people.
Right.
My son's just learning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't put a ball in his hands. I waited for him to ask for one. So I would put him with a program that was going to help him grow the whole way. It's just different. So there's different fits for different people, and a program as big as yours is going to come with things that a small program won't. You guys are going to get training.
Right.
You guys are going to get different kind of, you know what I mean?
And there's pros and cons to both sides, because, like, at the end of the day, I mean, look where we got this facility, right? And and that's part of why we need to be a bigger program, because I'm going to be quite honest, those kids and these families are helping to keep the lights on in this place.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly how it works. and then with that being said, like I said, you guys have opportunity for camps and trainings and all the things like that. We were a smaller team, so we had to.
You got to rent gym space.
$50,
right.
We just need an hour of practice.
Right,
We got a tournament this weekend. You know what I mean? So, there's definitely a blessing to be in a situation that you're in.
But the pros of, like, being a smaller program is, You know, you get the family feel. You really get to know everybody, and everyone gets to know each other. You know, you have each other's back. It doesn't, at least from my experience, because a lot of my teams stick together for the long run. It doesn't feel like that revolving wheel every few months. You know, a kid leaves, another one here. You know, of course some kids go and, you know, things happen, but it's like hopefully you can always keep a core intact. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the most important thing, is getting guys that you can keep together, that'll like each other. You know what I mean? And I think you can grow. I like programs that push togetherness, like Marcus.
Yeah,
I like what he's doing.
Oh yeah, Marcus Kirkland. Oh yeah,
I like what he's doing.
Shout out to him, man.
With his program. So it's especially what he does with the kids. You know, he's always talking to them and explaining to them. You know, teaching. When I go to basketball now, especially being a coach, I go to watch basketball, but I watch interactions.
Right.
I watch when that kid gets yelled at, is he getting corrected when he comes to the sideline?
Right.
Are you telling them what to do, or are you just telling them not to do that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's weird because now watching it from the coach's side, you know, that's not what you used to looking for.
Exactly. Well, now you know. I mean, well, switching gears, we'll talk more about that. I want you to talk about what you do, because that's part of the reason why I'm glad to have you on the show, because for you guys who don't know, you own a barbershop. And it looks very successful. He also has a clothing line. He brought me some clothing. Got to show this to the camera real quick. So why what's the idea? What's the idea of the brand? This says "Stay Clean," y'all. So you know
that's one of my apprentices, Jeff Ortega. He's So I own a barbershop, so I'll start there. Barber's Dreme. We're one of the largest barbershops in NorCal. We got 15 barbers.
Oh, and hold on and just so you guys know who are watching on YouTube and everything, I'm going to have links to his barbershop, his websites, his social media, all that stuff, so you guys can go follow him, support him, and check out what he's doing.
Yeah, so we really try to run it like I run it like a basketball team.
Yeah,
I recruit guys. I don't ever post like now hiring or anything.
Right.
Everybody that's on my team has been recruited. As you notice, my son has a shirt that says Dream Team on it. Yeah, that's kind of our theme. We run things like a basketball program.
Very cool.
So I recruited the guys that I got, and everyone that comes in is like family. And so I encourage my team. Not just being a black business owner is tough, because you got the people that say you need to hire all black people.
Well,
you're a black business owner. You need why you don't have all black barbers in your shop. And then you got the people that say you need to stay away from black people. You know what I mean? You got black people.
Yeah, you're right.
What I mean, so it's like finding a balance. My shop is one of the most diverse shops in the city for sure. I don't know.
Oh, where's it? I know where it's located.
We're in Elk Grove. We're located in Elk Grove at Elk Grove and I-5. Right next to Huckleberry's. So we have, anybody that walks through the door can get service.
Nice.
It can get a haircut, shave, facial, whatever. Whatever service you desire.
What kind of got you interested in that? Were you always like cutting a little bit and stuff, and just kind of
playing basketball? We would go on tournaments.
Of course,
cleaned up. So I was always the one cleaning everybody up, and I had little brothers. So I used to whack them when we were younger. So got into that, and then when I got done with the AAU stuff, and I was working with the city, I was doing some grant writing, doing some fiscal budgeting and stuff like that, and it just wasn't what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I love basketball. I love cutting hair, and I wanted to figure out how I could do both.
Put both cultures together, right?
And I wasn't going to be able to coach,
right,
and go to work at 9 to 5 every day.
Yeah, trust me, I know.
So and at the time I had a bunch of like high school offers, high school jobs, high school positions in Sacramento. So coaches like, man, you need to come in and apply for this, and what you did with your AAU team, you can come and do that here for the program. And so I thought about it, but I
can't live off them high school
right.
trips.
and so I once I got my barbershop, I went around I got my barber's license. I went around. I worked in a shop for like 2 days. I was like, this ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
I went to another shop. I didn't even stay. I was like, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I was back.
Did go back.
And I was like, man, if I want a specific environment, I got to create it.
Yeah.
And so I met somebody at Barber College, and he kind of felt the same way. And so I opened up a shop, and then from that point on, my first shop we ended up splitting, going our separate ways, and I didn't do things the way I had thought in my head.
Right.
So this time I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this like a basketball.
And it was a lot of
just like a basketball team.
And I just want to delve into that just a little bit too. Like that first shop you did, right, with your partner, was it kind of a learning process, a lot of trial and error, this works, this didn't work, you know what I mean?
A lot of learning. For one, I learned I don't need a partner.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just because when you have a partnership, you have two minds.
Yeah.
And
you both have your own.
And they can both be right.
Yeah.
His vision could have been right for what he wanted, and my vision was right for what I wanted. And
Absolutely.
for me to want to build a team a specific way and want to build a network a specific way, like a team, like a basketball team, like the guys I play with at Sac City, they're my best friends.
Yeah.
I talk to them every day. We got a group chat right now. You know what I mean? And so I wanted my barbers to be like that. I didn't want it to just be a bunch of guys that show up and come to work.
Right.
So that's kind of how I do. It's like I need a rebounder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need somebody who's going to open every day.
Right.
I need somebody who's going to pick that towel up instead of step over it. I need somebody. So just picking a different player for every role on the team. That's kind of how I use basketball into what I'm doing, and that's how I got there.
Well, no, that's great. So this is what I want to talk to you about with the barbershop culture, right? We know as black men and just black culture in general. Look at LeBron James. He made a show, the barbershop, right?
It's crazy. Shop talk. So we did this for LeBron James.
Right.
When I opened my first shop in 2015, that was kind of one of the things that we wanted to do to kind of generate the buzz, and we linked with Dwight Taylor.
Yeah.
And he was just getting started. He hadn't wrote any of his books or anything like that. And he would come in and we would do shop. We would call it Meeting of the Minds, shop talk. And I would call all the barbershop owners from the area.
Yeah.
And we would meet. And we would talk about the market. We would talk about pricing. We would talk about materials. We would talk about my concept was, look, if you're buying a case of Barbicide and I'm buying a case of Barbicide and he's buying a case of Barbicide, why don't we get it in bulk and have them delivered at one location and then split it,
and then cut costs,
save our money, right? And so I learned quickly that in business, not everybody's willing to work together. Right?
Absolutely.
So you have those kinds of meetings, and then you start to see wait, we talked about that, and I'm not in it. You know what I mean?
I know.
And you start seeing stuff like that, and so
it's cutthroat like that, man.
Man, business when business gets like that. So learning that kind of stuff, we had that shop talk, and so sports is always. It's always
been one. One can't exist without the other, right? The barbershop talks, sports talks. It's just a part of the culture, man. I go to either Pro Style or in the mix with Tone or those guys, right? And we still, we talking, obviously it's the playoffs right now. We're going to get into that even more so, and I'm a Warriors fan. So, we talk more and more and more, but it's like, I thought just having you on the show, I really wanted to kind of, for those who don't know, we know, right? And the kids that are really in hoop, and obviously especially young black kids know, but I always got to remind myself, we're not the majority of people. A lot of people don't know our culture. A lot of people don't know, the debates and the atmosphere out there.
And it's crazy because my shop's in Elk Grove. So it's a melting pot.
Right.
So I got my one of my best friends, Quentin Green. He comes in and he's the shit talker. He comes in and anybody's team. He's talking about this. He knows sports. He knows sports top to bottom.
Oh, if you got Lakers fans in there, I know he would have to be
he's talking baseball, basketball. Crazy thing is he doesn't like LeBron, right? But he's a Melo fan.
Oh wow!
So this was probably one of the worst.
Yeah.
So that culture is there that he comes in and everybody and I can see these guys that aren't kind of used to that culture. They're like, oh. Quinny's here.
Right.
He about to talk sport. He gonna be talking shit the whole time. And so, yeah, it's good. So we've had the Iverson AI debate.
Right.
The LeBron bait, and then of course the COVID stuff, the Kyrie stuff.
Yep.
So a lot of boxing. We talk a lot of boxing.
Yeah.
So just keeping that culture.
Why? And before we move on, just why do you think that is? I mean, I have my own thoughts on it or whatever, but you're facilitating it. I mean, it's your shop. You know, why do you think it's just such a natural, good fit? I mean, it's because we're just guys and we just love sport, but so. It's just a combination of all that, right?
Because we have female clients that come in, the same thing. They join the conversation about rap. Right. About whatever. I think it's just a common ground. It's a common meeting area.
I agree.
Where you can express your opinion. And I think, at least in my shop, the environment that is set is you could say something that would typically be embarrassing or wrong,
right?
And it's not, and we're gonna laugh so much that it ain't,
right.
You're gonna be like, you know what I mean? So you can give your opinion candidly.
That's cool.
And that's just the type of environment that we try to keep. And I think that I've been in other barbershops, other cultures, and I mean, just having the game on, that ain't the same.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not the same as actually getting that culture. And
man, I do, because it's always fascinated me, I guess. I mean, it doesn't, now that I'm older and I analyze everything, but it's just like something I always thought that was very unique to our culture. It's just sports athletes. I mean, at the end of the day, what it's like Deion Sanders said, right? Feel good, look good, play good, right? So,
and that's the next thing is that fashion,
right?
Sports, fashion, and grooming is all kind of starting to tie in together.
So then, talk to me about the clothing. Talk about where that sparked that interest in and all that.
The clothing,
the clothing line is
business mentor. So I got my own clothing lines, trending topic clothing. We have, my daughter has her own line under trending topic, Little Dreamers.
Very cool.
My barber Jeff has the Stay Clean collection.
Nice.
My apprentice, actually my very first apprentice, he's actually licensed now. He's no longer my apprentice, but he's got his own clothing line. He's got his own hair products.
Very cool.
He's doing everything I did. He kind of really took on the role of an apprentice and really made it happen. So the clothing line started initially. We would go to like barber battles and things like that, and I was like, man, I'm put my name. My business mentor was like, the thing that you need to do is you need to get cracking as a barber. If you get cracking as a barber, everything else is going to be easy.
Yeah.
I'm putting my name on my shirt. I get a shirt, I put my name, and this is like, Instagram is just getting started. Just put my Instagram tag on there. We go out of town and people are like, can you make me one?
Right.
I can make one. I ordered the transfers and we were ordering the transfers at first, and we were just ordering transfers, pressing them on shirts. Nice. And then I had a friend that every time we would talk, her reply would be like, it's because I'm dope. And so I was like, I'm gonna put that on a shirt.
Right. Yeah.
So I did. I put it on a shirt because I'm dope on a shirt, and that went crazy. So
I like that.
Yeah. Then I went with the trending topic clothing. So we started just picking like issues and picking topics and running with it. And then I found just taking it to another level. I found a vendor where I could get quality. So then it was like, okay, now it's not just getting T-shirts and pressing on them. Now we're getting quality comfort fit cotton. Now we're getting into the fashion side, right. Making sure people actually like what they're purchasing. Yeah, and then I also wanted to stay relevant. So like, I don't know if you saw during the bubble, the NBA bubble, Chris Haynes, the NBA reporter, he played actually at Sac City with us.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I have a shirt that says all we ever did was be black.
Yeah.
And the day that the Milwaukee Bucks
protested,
he had that shirt on.
Oh, very cool.
And
I
they
didn't see
told
that.
him, like, you got to go on air. And he's like, I don't got a suit. I wasn't supposed to be on air today.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm wearing this shirt. And they were like, well, that's fitting for what's
going on,
now. And the sales went through the roof that next month.
Wow.
He wore it on TNT.
Funny how that works, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I had a mask, Black is Dope mask, a shirt. We have some Black is Dope. We had a whole black collection.
Next thing you know, you wake up, bunch of orders. You're like, whoa, all right.
Can't keep up. At one point,
no, that's great, man.
Yeah, so I got you another one in there too, Free-ish.
Yeah.
We had that Free-ish one went pretty crazy. So I just started trying to stay relevant, and then I hired my niece as my assistant. And she kind of wanted to do fashion. I've always hired either past players, some of my AAU guys, someone I've mentored. I've always give somebody a chance.
That's good.
I hired them, give them a shot, let them make shirts for me, let them figure it out, let them learn something, see if they like it, teach them about business. And so she's really been taking over, like, with the design, and I had hashtag and letters. You know what I mean? She's kind of changing things up, getting us design. And my apprentice Jeff, he's got some good design ideas too. And so really we just want to stay clean as and we're a barber.
Right.
You know what I mean, stay clean. I got Stay Faded. The series coming back this summer, so just put things that are relevant to what we do. My business mentor told me a long time ago, and that's his book, Chuka Torres.
I want to mention him real quick.
He kind of walks me through a lot of the decisions that I make.
Good.
And he kind of tells me what he would do. He doesn't ever really tell me what to do. He just tells me what he would do if he were me. And sometimes what he would do is different from what he would do if he were me.
Okay.
Because my situation is different. And he always gives me that, how do I say, I guess, neutral advice.
Right.
So I can always make the best decisions that work for me. And so I don't just have the clothing line. I got products. I have razors. I have shampoo. I have conditioner. I have hair pomade.
All right.
We got a hand sanitizer on the way. We got a cologne on the way. We got a hand and face lotion for men on the way. We got
I hope y'all listening and hearing this, man, because you come order this stuff, man. That's part of why y'all need to hear this, man, so y'all can get this man's stuff. No, that's what's up, bro.
Yeah. So and one thing that he would tell me is if you're gonna work in an industry, you need to find a way to be relevant in the industry. Yeah,
and you got to evolve. You got to adapt, right? You got to evolve and adapt with everything, and it looks like, I mean, just hearing everything you're telling me, I mean, you're highly intelligent and you're making very powerful moves, and you have the foundation, which seems to be the shop, but it's not the only thing. You know what I mean? It looks like you're using that as the foundation, but you're making your reach all over, and that's, in my opinion, that's the best way to find success.
And that's a discipline that comes from basketball,
right?
Understanding what it takes,
what
it takes to make a team, what
and
it takes to win a
doing it every day, and grinding and all that.
And then to keep a team together, understanding what it's going to be like when that person doesn't get along with that person, not passing the ball, or, you know what I mean? I just kind of translate it all to the same thing. I try to make sure that I take what I learned from basketball and just apply it to what I'm doing.
Man, that's very cool. So last thing before we get into hot takes, I kind of wanted your take. So couple things I'm going to ask you with this one, right? Then you put your JC coach's hat on, right? So the transfer portal, right, clearly has changed the game as far as collegiate basketball, college sports in general, right? You got plenty of coaches right now that are like, okay, this is insane, you know what I mean? And I've talked to college coaches because, as people have known throughout the show, and even though it's been a while since I did the About That Life episode, but in my other side podcasts and stuff, they know my team's on the UA circuit, right? Shout out to Under Armour. That's why I got to wear this all the time. But I talk a lot about how this works, how the recruitment works. So kind of the hierarchy I'm seeing in kids getting recruited for colleges now, it's pretty much the transfer portal, JC, prep school, then high school, right? So high school players have kind of become the bottom of the totem pole. Now, of course, if you're a top 100, ESPN top 100, all that stuff, you're different. 7 foot. I mean, you're clear. But I'm talking about, there's obviously a bunch of talented athletes.
We got this year, man. You got 6'9", 6'10" kids going D2.
Right.
That would normally be going D1.
Exactly.
The transfer portal is brutal.
Yeah.
Even for us, it hurts us. COVID killed us because whereas NCAA guys got a free year to play, we didn't.
Right.
So there's a log jam. There's a log jam for JUCO guys coming out right now. So guys that are getting offers right now are fortunate. But the 4 years want to get older,
right,
instead of younger. So
yeah.
Whereas they would be coming in and getting a kid, no one's paying for red shirts anymore. So that transfer portal is making it easy for them to get older instead of younger.
So would you say to high school kids? Because I've been recommending to honestly a lot of high school kids, especially this upcoming class 2022. I've been telling them y'all need to go JC. I mean, that's kind of what I've been pushing for a lot of them. So.
Yeah, well, I'm biased because I'm a JC coach,
well, yeah,
of course. I think that we need to turn this level up a little bit, which is why I recruit the guys that I recruit. Like, I don't recruit any player that looks like he's a JC player.
Right,
For me, the guys that I recruit guys that think they shouldn't be going JC. I want the guys with the chip on their shoulder, guys that maybe should be going a higher level, but because of what's going on, they're not.
Right.
So, yeah, I've been telling guys that too. I mean, guys will go to a D3 or to a small school and pay $30,000 a year when you can go to JUCO for free for 2 years and take when you get there, you're gonna do the same thing. What I always tell guys is go look at that roster, look at how many freshmen are playing, look at how many sophomores are playing. So you want to go there right out of high school and pay $30,000 a year to play 6 minutes a game, because to say you went to a 4-year school, even though it's a small school, when you can go to JUCO, take those same classes for free, get it out of the way, and by the time you're actually an impact player getting minutes, you've now developed.
Yeah.
You understand what it's like to be responsible because you've been on a college campus. Yep.
You can handle the class load, all that stuff.
If you stayed home, you saved money.
Right.
There's just so many positives to going JUCO now that, and that's what I told my guys when I recruited them this year. There's a lot of guys that are out of position. A lot of guys that are playing the 4 that'll never touch a post, even at the JUCO level.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I've been telling guys like, look, go JUCO, come, even if it's not Sac City.
Right.
Go JUCO, develop, get better. If you think that you're better, they're going to come and get you. We had a guy, Greg Milton, came and played for us. Same thing, he had a couple D2 offers. He was going to go to Yuba. He came, he said, Coach, I just think I'm better than the offers that I got. So if you think you're better, they're going to come.
Right.
You got to show that you're better.
Right.
Wyoming came after his freshman year.
There
Got
you
a
go.
scholarship, D1 scholarship. You know what I mean? So it's the transfer portal makes it tough for high school guys, especially if you like. I mean, we got some good high school guys out in Sacramento. Amir Britton's a Division I player.
Yeah, I agree. And then I know I saw on your Facebook you recruited Lot.
Yeah, he's coming in the city.
Yeah.
He's a Division I basketball player. With, he's got to develop. But like these guys are Division I. Amir to me is easy. A lot of other guys, it's potential and development, but Amir's easy. But he's not going to get a Division I offer because of the transfer portal.
Right.
Because if you could bring in a junior point guard, why would you bring in a freshman?
Well, exactly. What I've been calling it is and so if anybody says this, I said it first. But no, I've been telling my guys, I said a lot of colleges currently, especially at the D1, D2 level, they're looking for instant oatmeal players.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just add water, good to go. You know what I mean?
I think he can play.
Yeah.
But are they going to give him that opportunity?
Right.
Being so young, that's all they're looking. They're just not looking at high school kids. I mean, I have Division I coaches that I talk to, and I call them, and every time I see a kid, I'm calling like, hey, this Claxton at an endocrine. I'm calling the coaches I know because I'm trying to create my relationship. So I'm like, hey, there's a kid out here. I'm at this Elk Grove game. There's a kid out here. I think he can play at this level. I think he's special.
Right.
Man, I got this junior. You know what I mean? Or did you see who hit the portal the other day? So-and-so hit the portal.
Right.
We can get a hold of him. And so, and then it's got these guys kind of waiting.
Right.
So they're like, you got and
then they get discouraged.
Well, they're getting discouraged, and then as a coach, as a JUCO coach, you kind of want to be honest with them.
Yeah,
be like, bro, there's no offer coming.
Right.
You know, like Amir may get a late D1 offer. I think it's possible he can play, and he's every game he goes and plays in, he's lighting it up. He's MVP everywhere he goes. So it's very possible for him. I would hope for that for him. Plus I don't want to see him in our league.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? But he's talented. So and when you look at things like that, you look at this kid, and you're like, this is the best kid in the area, and he can't get in. I mean, he's getting some D2 offers, some good looks, but he's not getting his level that everyone thinks he should be getting because of the traffic. So JUCO's gonna, I think, over these next 2 or 3 years, JUCO's gonna become real important.
I think so. I think it's actually gonna become very dominant like it used to. I remember, at least when I was playing JUCO, and at that time it was 2001 or 2002, and it was Boubion there and Palmer and all.
That's when I played.
And you know how dominant. I mean that JC level was so
all
fierce.
These guys were Player of the Year candidates.
Right.
Like on our team, we had Stephon Harris, Brandon Walden, and Stephon Smith. I think they were all 3 like up for Player of the Year their senior year.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, JC hasn't been, at least in my opinion, to that competitive degree in a long time, and I think it's going to actually go back to that because kids aren't good. I'm like I said, I'm encouraging kids, go JC, because I think it's going to still take at least this year, next year, maybe even one more year to regulate things kind of back to normal from the effects of COVID.
Yeah, they got to clear that log. First.
And it's tough because you obviously, we play for fun if we play at all, right? We the OGs, and we lived our basketball dream. So it is tough watching some of these kids kind of going through this and having to maneuver it. I try to tell my guys and keep them encouraged, say, hey, man, keep your head up, keep pushing, keep going. But I can understand where sometimes they feel like, oh, man, what's the point? Or, nobody's going to see me and all that stuff. Yeah. But,
it's tough. It's tough, man. I just try and push level. I think if a lot more kids understand level, I think it'll help them. Like a lot of these kids that are waiting for someone to see them, it's like, these guys are waiting on like a Pac-10,
Right. They're waiting on Duke.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like if Big Sky wasn't at practice, Duke isn't coming at all.
Right,
what I mean? So a lot of these guys don't understand level. And so that's what I recruit, guys that understand level. Like, so what do you want to do?
Right.
Because if they say, I want to go to Duke, I'm going to say, okay, this is what it takes to go to Duke.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
when everybody else is going home, going to sleep, you're going back to the gym.
Yeah.
And everybody else is doing that, you know what I mean? So
and I have those same conversations, too, and it's so funny sometimes those kids respond because you'll say, you need to do this, and they're like, oh, I can't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't go to Duke then. Like, I mean, it's pretty simple.
And that's to walk on.
Right,
you
right.
Do this to walk on at. If you want to get a scholarship to do, you got to do all of that and score 30 again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's getting the guys to understand level and understand what they can. I think once we start getting that, then they'll start to see JUCO as that bridge that it is and that stepping stone that it is, and they'll be able to get to a place where they can catapult. And this year, I think we got some.
Yeah, I've been seeing, like I said, I've been seeing the recruitment stuff you've been posting. Yeah, it looks like you guys got a good team. So.
And we're trying to change it up too. So like, put out the committed posts and we're trying to get back to like team shoes, like all that stuff's absent. You know what I mean? So team shoes and team outings and bring back the competitiveness.
Right.
And so we got a lot of the areas guys that can go.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Well, I want to get I guess I should say my overall last question before we move on to the last bit of stuff is what is your overall future plans? I mean, do you have anything lined up? I mean, I know you got the clothing line, the shop, your kids, the family. I mean, the whole deal.
That's it, man. just living in what I'm doing. I'm opening up a barber college.
Oh, see, that's what's up.
Got that on the way. Actually, everything's done. I'm just waiting on the green light. Want to expand my business. Want to open up another shop. I also want to open up a basketball facility.
That'd be great.
somewhere out South Sacramento area, Galt area.
There was that one that was the Ball Academy,
yeah,
right?
Ball Academies, it's something like that, but they're busting at the seams.
Yeah.
There's just not enough court space, so
right.
I wanted to do something like that. But other than that, man, just be a dad, man. Hang out, coach at Sac City. I don't want to. I'm not trying to be a head coach.
Right.
I'm trying to go to high school. I ain't trying to move on. I had a couple. People offer me like recruiting jobs and things like that. I love it at Sac City.
Yeah,
I love it at Sacramento City College.
And it's a good feeling to have, man. Right when you know like where you should be at, and you feel
I'm
good about it. I know what you mean.
Coach takes care of me.
Yeah,
he makes sure I get everything that I need, and and I like that I could tell the players the truth.
Right.
I could tell them exactly what they're going to get when they get there. I can tell them, like, look, you got an opportunity to start, and they're going to have an opportunity to start. I don't have to just tell them that to get them in the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that. So, I told Coach I'm there till he's done. Depending on who comes in next, I don't know if I'm going to be here with them, but I'm there until he's done, and that's what I plan to do.
All right, go some good stuff. So let's talk hot takes. Biggest thing I want to talk about right now, college athletes getting paid. Well, let's just ask the quick yes or no on your opinion on that. Should collegiate athletes get paid?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I totally agree with that. And we've been through it, so we know the struggle, right? Yeah. There's a lot of NIL deals. Guys are getting paid damn near six figures, and the overall, of course, there's the big long-winded answer. But for those who might not understand, I'm gonna give you guys the cliff notes and the quick version. Basically, you can use your social media, you can use your likeness to get deals. I will give you guys a few examples. Well, let me first explain how the effect of the transfer portal is affecting things, and I'll show that for you guys checking it out into conjunction with the NIL deal and getting money. So you got notable kids like Imani Bates transferring, Keon Brooks from Kentucky, Donald Carey from Georgetown, AJ Green, Northern Iowa, Tyrese Hunter, Iowa State. Who else? Courtney Ramey from Texas. You got Michael Severino from Duke. I mean, these are guys that are in the transfer portal looking to leave. You know what I mean? These are pretty notable names. So, I wanted to talk about so people can understand kind of it's an NIL deal and understand that it's for all sports. Basketball and football players are the ones, at least what the analytics and the stats are proving, they're the ones getting the most deals and most money. But let's just be real. Those are the most notable players typically. Right. Those are the ones people
bringing in the revenue.
Exactly. Those are the ones when you think Florida Gators, most people think of that football team, right? They're not thinking of the tennis team. It just is what it is. So those guys who are bringing in all this income, the NCAA basically had to finally own up and recognize that as corrupt as an organization. And let me make this very clear, because don't get me wrong, sports in the NCAA and the opportunity for athletic scholarships did help equal out the playing field as far as we as a people and a culture, as far as black people being steps behind, right? We got an opportunity to get an education. We got an opportunity to enlighten ourselves and maybe come out debt-free, no doubt. But there is definitely a hypocrisy to all that and exploitation to it, because if you look at if you guys want to go back 20, 30 years, look at the analytics. I'm not going to get all into it. It's there for the public yourselves. Look at the NCAA has to publish their numbers to the IRS. Look how much March Madness brings in as opposed to how much money they're really pushing out. It's very clear. Right. Very clear. The NCAA is winning that. You know what I mean? So go look. I suggest for those who are listening or checking it out, go look for it yourself. Find them. I'm big on people enlightening themselves. So let's talk about the NIL, right? Like, so a lot of these kids, for instance, I'm going to speak, which football team is this exactly? Because it was one that was, I thought, Arkansas's football team. 14 of their players each have, and I think one of their players has, the least one has 40,000 followers on between their Instagram, or on their Instagram, and about 1.1 million on their TikTok, and that's the guy who has the least, right? 14 of those Arkansas players signed deals with Vitamin Shop, right? So they're doing ads and promos and things like that, and they're getting they're getting paid pretty good. You know what I mean? So pretty much any player with 10K plus followers has an opportunity to make money. If you guys think to someone like a Mikey Williams, who's just a high school kid, but I think his following's at 2.4. No, I think it's at 4.4 million now or something. It's ridiculous. You got grown men going up to this kid trying to get his autograph, which I think is the weirdest shit ever because he hasn't exactly and he's transferring again to Lake Norman. So this kid is literally, I think, transferred every year of high school. So
played five schools
exactly. So I don't know. And to me, that equates a lack of loyalty, but that's just, again, my opinion. You have a lot of these moving parts. At the end of the day, yes, the kids are getting paid, and as they rightfully should. What could you see the potential ramifications of this becoming, though? Could it get worse? Could it get better? Should there be something to regulate it? I mean, that's what I always wonder. It's the uncertainty of all of it.
Yeah, I think it should be regulated. To be honest, let's start by saying people been getting paid.
Yeah.
So
true.
Now there's ways that they can
do it over the table.
Right. So now they can show that they're paying. I mean, because at the end of the day, if I could go here and get a free Tahoe to drive while I'm at school, why would I go over there? Who isn't going to give me a free Tahoe?
Yep.
So it's the playing field. Once they decided this, they leveling the playing field out the door.
Yeah.
Right. So and then it becomes like what's big for your city. If there's something that's big in Sacramento, so housing is expensive here.
Yeah.
So if these guys are getting scholarship and they have to stay on campus, and I'm managing an apartment complex, and Zachary Chappelle's I need him in the commercial, I'm going to give him a 1-bedroom apartment because that's the biggest expense.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the demographic, but I think it should be regulated because we're not teaching the kids what to do with the money that we're giving them. So,
exactly.
Trust, maybe. I think that makes sense. I think revenue share percentage makes more sense than making them go and earn it themselves.
Yeah.
That's still not NCAA taking accountability for the business that they're in. What it is it's saying, all right, now you guys can go make some too.
Right.
We're going to share the pie with you. What they should be doing is they should be giving them a percentage of revenue. And that, what I think is that percentage of revenue should be going into a trust account or to a fund, and you either have to graduate school. So now you're promoting finishing school. If you leave in a year, all these guys are coming back and graduating school. So now if you leave in a year and go pro, you're not worried about the trust fund money because you're doing that for millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Anyways, right?
Exactly.
So,
but everyone doesn't go pro, as we know.
And so the guys that need it finish out their career, get their degree, or do whatever they need to do, or whatever the requirements can be, regulations can be.
And not only are they debt free, they have a pot of money waiting for them at the end.
So now they have a life. They have a jump start to their life. Now that's different than giving the 18-year-old $800,000 right now. Right. He's gonna go buy a car, a chain, buy some stuff for his parents.
Go to the club a couple nights.
Everybody's bills are gonna be due all of a sudden.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so it doesn't really help catapult them anywhere. I think that it's gonna make a mess.
Yeah, we'll see how it evolves. I definitely hope. I hope, if not family members, but at least it's tough to say even colleges. But I would hope there's more, because there's things we know now that I wish I would have known when I was 18. Right. You know, about how credit worked and savings accounts and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm hoping they teach them or some sort of mentorship about that.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to give them an opportunity to get NIL money, but you're not teaching them money management.
Exactly.
So it's like that should be a requirement.
Yeah.
But I think that college athletes should get paid. I don't think they should have to go earn it on their own name. I think they should get some of the money that they're bringing in.
Yep. Totally agree with you on that. So I wanted to talk back about AAU for the next hot take. I'm heavy in this, right? Like, anyone can see that on my social media. Doing this shit every day. I'm literally about to go coach tomorrow in Hayward, and fly to Ladera and go coach in LA. And this is what I do. But more and more, and it's not indicative of all of AAU. So I want to make that clear. But it is starting to trickle down further and further. I do run across a lot of entitled parents, a lot of egos. I mean, you did, like you said, you did a sponsored program with an NBA player, and I'm sure you ran into shit. And it's like, I'm trying to understand this mentality of something, and I did an episode about this, but for some reason I feel people think basketball or AAU basketball should be either low cost to free. And I'm trying to understand that logic, because people understand when they sign their kids up for football, they got to pay for those pads, they got to pay, and nobody like makes a big deal about it. Or you go to volleyball, you know, AAU volleyball, right, or baseball or softball, or you know what I mean? Yeah, cheer. Yeah, exactly. And don't they have like their major tournaments in like Florida and stuff all the time? So it's like, and those parents, they just understand it, and they're like, right, you know, I got to pay for it, and it is what. Of course, you're going to fundraise and figure things out, but right, something about, and maybe again, maybe it's because black people, maybe it's just because a sense of entire. I don't know, man, but it just seems like more and more I'm running into parents that they don't want to invest in their kids, and what I mean by that, they don't want to pay for training. They want trainers, they want to give their kid a leg up, but they don't want to invest in it. And if their kid happens to be talented as a 8-year-old, they think like, oh, my kid's about to go D1, or the kid thinks that themselves, and everything should be laid out and free for them for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. Yeah. I'm just curious your take on that, or what if you had any thoughts about that.
Well, with my program, I got lucky. Mm-hmm. We had a great group of parents. We had a group of parents that, to be honest, I don't think I've ever had any conversations like about minutes.
Nice, man.
That's great. I mean, the conversations that we did have were like short-lived. Like, can I go play with this team this weekend? No.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you do, that's fine. But let me know, because I'm going to fill your spot.
There you go.
So we kind of, and I got lucky. Like I said, I had a bunch of parents that were kind of on board. Isaiah Bates' grandfather, he paid his monthly fee every month knowing that he wasn't going to play.
Wow.
And he came in and he said, you know what, I respect what you're doing.
And that you're holding them accountable.
Right. And so there's different parents for different things. As far as the finances go, I think because you do have those programs out here, so people are going to equate a big program with a money program, right? So it's a difference between you having a big program, having all these teams, and everyone's got to pay, and that's got to keep the bills, and having a sponsored team with 8 teams and everybody's got all the gear. So I think parents are seeing that. They see the sponsored teams, and like you said, you got Johnny who's nice at 8, and you got this coach over here. He's like, how much you pay over? $3 something a month? Come, we got him. Come over here, we got him, and he can, you know what I mean? Like, and so when you have so much of that going on, I think that's what triggers specific parents to be like, well, we have just as many kids as them. Why are they free and we're not? Right. You know, and then so they start to kind of do that, and then they don't really value what you do, what we do. They don't really value the coaching. They don't value the fact that you got the parent yelling at you over here. Mm-hmm. You got the ref to deal with, you got the players to deal with, and their
egos and their
mentalities, and you got to keep in.
And you're trying to win a game.
We're working with youth,
right?
So we're working with youth. So you're working with kids. You're working with development. Mm-hmm. So you got to teach this kid without breaking them. Right. That's a balance that a lot of parents don't understand. Right. And so they, you know, I think that parents just don't really get what's coming with basketball. Right. Like the discipline, the structure, the family environment, the learning how to persevere. Like there's a lot of basketball to me is the most amazing sport because you can't hide. Yeah. I agree with you on that. You got a hat. You could throw some glasses on if you want. Mm-hmm. Football, you got a visor. You got a whole helmet. You just I've seen pro football players and that came into my barbershop, and my barbers are like, "That's Witherspoon." I'm like, "What?"
And you like, I'm like, I don't know.
I'm 54. I'm like, oh. I've never seen his face before.
Right.
You know what I mean? But basketball, you turn the ball over, you're right there in front of the crowd.
You can't hide.
Faces out. You get dunked on. You get your shot blocked. You know what I mean? So it builds character naturally. Same thing in practice. You know what I mean? You're around there. It's a small. What do they do when you go to school and you want to get max out of your class? What they do? They make smaller
classes. Yep.
So basketball's that. Basketball's a smaller class size, and so I think I don't think the parents really are grasping and understanding that part of basketball. So for football, like you said, they see pads, they see this, they see helmets, they see value.
Right.
Basketball, it's all intangible things, so they don't see that value, and I think that's where the problem comes in.
Fair enough. Well then, so I wanted to talk a little bit of NBA. Let's get into the fun stuff there real quick, and then we'll do a reaction video, and then pretty much get out of here. Okay. So I wanted to, obviously, well, first off, who's your NBA team? You got a team or a player? Who you got?
I'm a player.
Okay.
I used to like the Bulls growing up.
All right.
Of course, I've always been a Pippen fan.
All right.
My
That's what's
player.
up.
He's always been my favorite player.
You still a Pippen fan now, even though he went a little crazy?
He needed to be quiet. Pippen need to shut up. I love him now. His game is his game, but he tripping thinking he was just as good as Mike. But I'll argue with my friends, though. I tell them, man, Pippen was as good as Mike.
Right.
Yeah, no. I like Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
I like watching Giannis a lot. I'm really big on LaMelo Ball right now.
Okay.
That's a guy I really like to watch, too.
Okay.
John Morant's obviously must see.
Oh, yeah. Fun kid.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. So I just like the game right now. I just kind of been watching everybody. I like Devin Booker.
Okay.
He's underrated.
Yep.
CP3, of course.
Oh, man. He is the last of a dying breed, bro.
Yeah, so I like Steph. This year, actually, it's crazy. We've been having this debate in the barbershop for about 5 years. And this is the first year that I was like, all right, Steph might be better than Allen Iverson.
You might have to.
It's hard. And then when you watch some highlights, you're like, never mind. I don't know. But when you watch Steph live,
man, he's good.
He's different.
What he does is
he's different.
What he does at his height, at that level,
he's different. I mean, I like watching Steph. So I don't really have 18, but players.
All right. Well. So, like I said earlier, I'm a Warriors fan. Watching the Memphis Warriors series has been interesting, to say the least. You got the flagrant fouls. Shout out to Gary Payton Jr., man, getting his elbow. Man, that kid, he's persevered from so much, man. People just don't know that guy's story. I tell them that's if you guys get a chance, that's one guy's story you guys should check out, man. Gary Payton Jr., you would think, he's an NBA legend son. It was just easy. It's like, nah, y'all don't understand that kid.
Got another brother with the same name.
Yeah.
Same age.
So I'm like, man, the one guy really, there's two guys I really want to kind of delve into because they kind of embody a lot of what I see as far as the negative of AAU. Because obviously my show always circles back to that for the most part. The first being James Harden. To me, he comes across, and again, this is my opinion. I'd say it to his face if he was sitting here right on my couch. But very incredibly talented player who put in the work to maximize the talent. But once he did, he just coasted off of it. And now it's starting to catch up to him because, he's notoriously known. He's going to be in the club. He's going to be in the strip club. He's going to go out. He's going to drink. And it is what it is. Like, I know plenty of dudes did it. When I was in college, I fucking did my shit, And so I'm not mad at that. But it's like, you can see the residual, especially now, because he's not having a great series at all. It's just looking like, he's hurt his own legacy. You know what I mean? And I've seen AAU kids like that, is what I'm saying. I've seen a kid that was amazing in 6th grade. Everybody loved him, told him he was amazing. He was amazing in 7th grade, amazing in 8th grade, right? Pretty much amazing in 9th grade, but didn't necessarily work on their game the way they should have, or maybe take it as serious as they should have, or kind of coasted on their talent, and then maybe they didn't get a little as tall as they thought they were going to get, or they never developed that jump shot everyone told them to, and then by the time junior, senior year,
They're out of time.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And obviously Harden, he made it to the league and made millions. So clearly he's not he won as far as it overall comes in life. But we're talking about as hoopers measuring it as a basketball player and wanting that championship, you know?
I think it's a passion thing.
Yeah.
I think that and that's the same thing with AAU, and if kids getting too much love too soon, you don't want to work for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, growing up, all we think about is how much money we want to make. I want to be rich when I get older. I want to do this. I want to do that. So then we take these kids that are 18 to 25 and we make them richer than they ever been.
Yeah.
And then we don't, there's no real, like, because of the way the sport works, the players are in control, right? So there's no real checks and balances. I mean, if the end goal is to be rich and I'm rich, what I'm working for.
Right. Now
you know
what?
I mean? So
exactly.
Like, and you're front loading my contract. You can give me
Right.
$60 million guaranteed. Enough money for me and my kids and their kids
Right.
forever.
Right. So it's like, now what?
Right. And then it's like, oh, he came in the camp out of shape. What'd you expect? You gave him $200 million. You gave him 60 of it up front. You know what I mean? And you gave him a car, and you gave him a jet and an expense card. And so I think that the level of what the luxuries have gotten to, and the reason why I bring that up in the NBA is because you see that at the AAU level. Mm-hmm. The level of the luxuries, it doesn't require for these kids to work. I mean, even my big guy, Dejan, he's coming to City, the unsigned senior circuit, and it's like, I'm gonna go play. I'm like, all right, well, you need anything? Oh no, they got it.
All right. Yeah.
We didn't have that when I was a kid.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, my dad was like, well, how much that's gonna cost?
Right.
I gotta drive you all the way to LA.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So the luxuries that these guys have, I think that's what pushes it away. I think that's what gives a benefit of a program like you. You have a big program, but you have some luxuries, but you don't have all the luxuries of a fully sponsored program.
No,
so
I don't.
These guys still got to work.
Yeah, and I don't lie to them about that. I don't sugar. Like, I tried to recruit a lot this year for my UA circuit, and PHPS definitely, when they heard I was trying to go at them, they definitely undercut me, and they were like, no, don't go to Y. And that's fine. I mean, that's just part of the game. But I'm very transparent with my kids and parents. I say, hey, you know, this costs money. We can fundraise. We can work for it. We can do stores, you know, car wash, whatever we can try to do to make it happen. But do I have, you know, a millionaire coming in with a check every year saying, here, Chris, we just go make it happen?
And see, what's going to happen with that is your program, the kids that want to work hard are going to gravitate, right? And you're going to get a stud every now and then whose parents going to take them out of your program because they're going to expect a different kind of treatment.
Right.
Or they're going to have, like you said, you'll have somebody saying,
hey, I got everything.
Why are you paying for that when you can come over? We got shit. What size you? You know what I mean? Like, and how we got to the point to where I remember when we were doing our AAU program, there was like some strict rules. Like, you have to charge a minimum of $45 a month, or else it's not even on a fully sponsored program. Or else it's considered a violation. Right. So now it's like, who knows what's going on?
It's the Wild West out here.
Yeah,
bro.
and
it
it's
really
like,
is.
And it's these kids are for sale to the highest bidder, and I think that's hurting AAU basketball, and it's giving AAU basketball a bad name because you get these kids, and these parents are holding these kids back, and
the whole back thing is a whole other topic.
Yeah, there's so much things that people are doing to try and put themselves atop of a list of people that you really don't even need to be at the top of.
Right.
When it comes to schools and getting recruited, there's a fit. There's a fit for everybody. Mm-hmm. There's a level. There's a fit for everybody. So you could be the best player. You know, if I'm the best point guard in the city and Sac State needs a center,
you're not going to Sac State.
It doesn't matter that I'm the best point guard in the city. You know what I mean? So it's like, and parents have to understand that. And once they understand that with AAU, it'll make it easier, because now it's like, hunt development. Don't hunt like glitz and glamour and where the spark. Like, everyone's like, oh, what tournaments are you playing and who's going to be viewing? Do you think that you need someone viewing your son right now?
Right.
he needs to develop first.
I like that.
You want me to put him in front of Clemson?
Right.
For what?
Exactly.
So they can say, nah,
right.
we ain't watching them guys no more. Like, no, like your kids need to develop, and they need to be willing to, like, it's an investment.
And that's what I always bring up to parents too. I say, well, you know, especially on my teams, I say you got to ask yourself what's more important to you. Is it wins and, like you said, the glitz and glamour, and just, you know, saying I'm a part of this, you know, I'm a part of Team Why Not? I'm a part of the Oakland Soldiers, and we're winning it. Like, is that what's super important to you, or is it actually developing, learning the game, going back to your high school better than when you left? You know, is that important to you? Because I do think you need a combination of both, because you are trying to showcase your athletes, but I can use my team as an example. We went on this UA circuit on the Rise side. We're 6-3. This is my first year on that circuit, so they were very impressed, because they were like, usually first-year teams don't do it like this, but a lot of the kids I've on my team, I've had them since they were in 6th grade. So it's not like I recruited a couple of new kids, but for the most part, this is my core guys, and I'm very realistic with my players and them. I knew we would be formidable on the circuit. Right. Did I think, you know, it's going to be like a damn movie and we're going to win it all and take home the championship? We'll see. But I did think to myself, okay, this team is very talented and formidable enough to compete, and I'm not going to sell my boys a dream and bullshit them and sit there and say, like, oh, no, we're going to be amazing or all that stuff. So what I'm saying to all that is they're still developing, even through this process of going on the circuit and playing against these top-tier teams and stuff. I don't forget that component, because that's ultimately the joy I find in it. Right. I know for a fact that a lot of the coaches on those circuits, and a lot of coaches in general that have the ties to the shoe circuit teams and the sponsor teams, their goal isn't the development.
Biggest and best.
Yeah.
Just give them the biggest and best.
Yeah.
They can put them out there, let them play, and hopefully they'll win some games. And but that's why you have, all these guys. You have all these guys that, you're making it to the pros, so I can't really say much, but like Harry Giles. Mm-hmm. If he developed the skill set that he had, you know what I mean? So you got all these guys, but he was pedestal from when he was in the 8th grade.
And that makes it just hurts him, man.
Made it easy for him. He, team to team, and you got guys like, I look at guys like Michael Beasley.
Yeah,
played at 4 or 5 high schools. He still had a good NBA career. Now imagine if he'd been somewhere that made him lock in and
really develop.
We'd probably be talking about him like we talk about Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You know what
with
I mean? So it's just. Guys, you have a guy. So I gotta look at you. I actually was recruiting Devin.
What's that? Devin who?
Devin, from is it?
Which school?
Wood.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wood. So I was recruiting him, and then there's a couple Sheldon guys that I recruited. You got guys that are willing to develop.
Yes.
And so guys, and you can always tell guys that are willing to develop, because they don't come in when you recruit them and you talk to them, they don't say, I'm waiting on an offer.
Right.
I'm a coach, I'm still playing. We're going to see what happens, and I want to try and get better.
Yeah. And I just try to advocate for him, man. I just try to be realistic and advocate for him. I just think, like what James Harden represents, he represents kind of what I see at the AAU sometimes, with some of these kids not maximizing or getting to their potential.
Trickles down.
Yeah, it does.
It trickles down, man. These guys don't, to me, what I think changed for James Harden is the way they call the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That definitely.
They said they're going to stop calling those fouls. They're not going to let them rip through and catch people's arms. They're not going to let them create the contact and shoot 17 free throws a game. Yeah. That changes things.
Yeah.
So, but how you develop your game with all the skills that you got, you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't gotten any better since he started getting his own team.
Right.
He just got more shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He hasn't gotten any
His
better.
best shot was those Rockets years. And,
Right. And he got to shoot the ball 34 times a game.
Right.
So it's like, you know, there's a lot of people that could do that.
Right.
Shoot the ball that many times. So, yeah, but it trickles down. I mean, and then you got guys like Jalen Green.
Mm-hmm.
If you watched him in the AAU circuit, then you knew.
Yeah.
You knew, like, he's going to.
Right.
That kid develops. He's working.
He's good.
They said he couldn't shoot that one year. The next year, he 8 threes in the tournament. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it just depends on the kid and the program. And unfortunately, a lot of these programs that are big names are just they're seeing a highlight, seeing this kid go crazy, and like, all right,
it's a brand.
Let's bring him to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or let's bring him over here. Let's bring him over here. And you got all these local kids that are working, and you flying kids in from I mean, it amazes me why a California kid would fly in to play with a team in Colorado, and why a Colorado kid would fly in to play with a California team. Like, why? Just play at home.
It's they
guys,
think it's something bigger and better out there.
It's just weird to me, and it's like you. And then even the coach, like, so you got all this talent in your backyard, and you're gonna bring, like, there was a point in time when the PHPS team was bringing guys from Europe.
Oh wow, okay.
You got a European point. These guys didn't speak English. Looks like me,
right?
But he didn't speak English. 6'4", and he was a bucket. But,
right.
You know what I mean? But we got guys here that need to get exposure too. Like, and ultimately, it's got to be about helping the kids
and tapping and our community. You got to tap into our community big time.
That's why you always see when you see me post on. Even guys that don't come to Sac City, I'll still help them if I can help them. And when they commit or when they go somewhere, Sac's got talent.
Right.
Like, we got talent here. And,
we do.
And people don't really, because there's a lot of backbiting. I mean, even in the trainer world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't go to that trainer.
Oh, bro. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, it's the same thing as AAU, though. Like,
right.
Why are you playing with that program? Why are you playing that? It's just like, you playing over there? Cool. They got some good coaches. Listen to them. Take as much as you can get. If you need something different, I'm here. It doesn't have to be better or worse or more or less.
Just different. Just different.
And
right.
that's it. Yeah.
And that's the thing I've been trying. I've always prided at least myself on. I don't speak bad about other programs. I just challenge myself to make YBA better. Right. That's all I do. Man,
I'm the same way. I was telling Coach that just like a week ago. I was talking to Coach Jones, and I was like, man, I just want to be the best recruiter.
Yep.
I don't want to down talk any other school. Like, when I talk to, you want to go to CRC or you want to go to this school, that's cool. They got some great coaches over there. Bernard used to be able to go. John was a beast in the paint.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be better.
Right.
If you want to go there, that's
more power to you.
Good luck.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But, I just try to push that. Like I told Coach, I want to be able to get the guys that, if I can help it, we're going to be the one and done.
Right.
JUCO and right. So like, why? How come only San Francisco City gets kickbacks?
Yeah, San Francisco they do.
You know what I mean? Why does only Yuba get guys that were gonna go to San Francisco, but then a kickback came and bumped them out of the way, and then they end up at Yuba. Those are the top two teams in that division, and then everybody else is garbage.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. So for me, like, I want to see CRC get good players. I want to see Folsom get good players. I keep a note in my phone.
Right.
All the guys I recruit that go other places and we play against them, I keep that record.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm competitive. I love sports, but ultimately, I just want to see these guys get out of here. Like Big Dylan, he just signed from CRC.
Yeah.
He just signed with Sonoma State. I recruited him when he was in high school.
Nice.
I've stayed in touch with him the whole time, throughout COVID, the whole time. And when he was done, I said, hey, man, you get some calls from the schools you got. If you need some help, let me know.
Good.
Sent his information out to a couple coaches that I know.
Shout out to Coach Rich. I know from Sonoma State.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's all about getting these kids out of here, getting them to see something else. Like I said, when I came to Sacramento from Fresno, I had never seen anything other than Fresno, San Luis Obispo, and Sacramento. That was it. And so, I know a lot of my AAU players, they had never, been on a plane until we put them on.
Right, and now you're putting them in a position to where you can help them out.
Right.
Well, then the last player I want to talk about, in conjunction with everything we're saying, Ben Simmons. So he, to me, embodies what AAU really has evolved into, this young prima donna, you know, do you even care about basketball type shit? You know what I mean? Like, because that's what I see when I see him. I've seen AAU kids that act like him. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've met kids and parents who enable that behavior of the kids like that. And I look at it, I'm just amazed at it. Like, this kid is 15 years old. And again, Ben Simmons is like an adult version of what I've seen out here.
But these kids nowadays, they emulate what they see.
Yeah,
they emulate. If this kid thinks he's Ben Simmons or is as good as Ben Simmons, he's gonna act like that. And that's the tough part. But yeah, Ben Simmons is giving the game a black eye.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
If he's giving the game, I mean, unless he's, I think that it could be unfair. It could be unfair that the league is doing, like, you know, they don't put out the information they need, because if he just had back surgery or something like that. Now, if there's an excuse, then give the people an excuse. But if there's not an excuse, then he's giving the game back. It'd be tough to be his teammate.
Man, it's the timing of it all. I mean, he was complaining in Philly.
Even
and then,
James Harden forcing his way out. It'd be tough to be those guys' teammate.
Or for real, man. You know, what he did in Philly, he didn't want to be there, didn't go practice, all that. And then you're seeing photos and reports of him going out to the clubs. And so it's like, wait a minute, you're dealing with mental health and injury, but you cool enough to go trick off some money. And
mental health has become, and you got to be careful. I got to be careful because to me, in my opinion, growing up, you know, I'm 41 years old. Mm-hmm. I don't remember mental health being as big as
me either.
It is. And
I talk the same shit on this show too.
I don't remember a whole bunch of suicides. I don't remember a whole
we
bunch
went
of
through a hell of a lot
shootings.
more.
I don't remember a whole bunch. Like, I just don't remember it. Not to say it didn't exist. Of course, people have, you know, problems, but maybe we were thicker skinned. Maybe we were raised to
we
deal
were
with
for
it
sure had thicker skin than this generation.
So the mental health thing to me has become a crutch.
Yeah, I agree.
It's almost like when you're hurt, you know how they say when as a player, you want to get hurt, you want to miss practice, you want to miss conditioning, say your back hurts.
Right.
They can't tell you it doesn't.
Right.
So mental health is kind of like that to
That's
me,
become that
where
new
it's like
thing.
Guys are like, just say mental health.
Right.
Just say, like Kyrie, same thing. Just say mental health. Like, I agree with him on his stance. Right. As far as not wanting to take the
vaccine. That's different.
Yeah,
and he lived on his principles, which at the end of the day, that's what.
And so you can respect that.
Right.
Before that happened, they're just missing from the team and saying, I'm just taking some personal days. You're getting paid $37 million a year. Like, people get paid $37 an hour, and they got to work for a year before they get 2 weeks off. What makes you think you can just not come and then?
And I do think there's somewhat of a disconnect in that regard, like when it comes to NBA players in particular, because I will say with NBA players, NBA basketball players in general, I'm just keep it a buck. Like, we kind of get to live a very interesting lifestyle in terms of we're athletes, but we're notable. Like, even if you're local, like, you know, we all know the guys who ball, like me, you, Matt Johnson, and all. We know each other in this area. You know what I mean? And people know us. Right. You know, like, I know there's people who know me. I don't know them. I've never met, but I'm not. I don't think that makes me above anything or makes me some type of celebrity. It's just like, so, but we get a taste of that. You know what I mean? Like, we get a little bit when you're in college and you're around it, you know, around women and the fun life and stuff. And so it's like, man, when you get in the league, that gets magnified by a 1,000-fold on top of your rich, right? Right. So I can imagine they start to get that disconnect of, like, they forget, even though
who they are.
Right. You know, even though they've earned their money, and rightfully so, because they put in the work and they've made it happen. It's like, do you forget, though, the people that are watching you there's still people without jobs. There's still the highest percentage of homelessness right now.
And that's the
thing.
Like, and that's the thing. So it's like, you can't question mental health, right?
Right.
So that's why I feel like it's become a crutch, because you can't really question it.
And you can't disprove it or nothing.
The majority of where I come from, from the hood, from Fresno, where it's rough. The majority of mental health is bills is due. It's stress. It's things piling up.
Yeah.
How much you stressing?
Right.
You got somebody cooking your food. You got somebody driving you wherever you need to go.
Right.
You got a house with an elevator in it. Like, your mental health is, like, I mean, and like I said, you can't say, I'm not saying there wasn't something wrong with his mental health, but, like, you get to show up and play basketball for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, and this is new. This mental health thing, people been your age getting paid millions for years, and they haven't had mental health issues because they got booed for passing a ball they should have dunked.
Right.
You didn't have mental health issues until that. You know what I mean? So it's like, Ben Simmons is he a sucker for that shit. I'll say you a sucker for what you doing, bro. Because you didn't have mental health issues until niggas was like, you should have done that.
Right.
Like, what you doing? You know what I mean? Excuse my language, but like, you know,
I know exactly what you mean, bro.
You should have dunked the ball, bro. And now you mad, and then you get mad at your coach, and then you want out. Then you have mental health issues, and then you're back.
Instead of them, and basically all they were saying to you is, hey, man, we paying you this money. You need to develop a jump shot. Yeah. And you say, well, I'm out.
Or even don't develop a jump shot. Take one.
Right.
There's a lot of guys who ain't. Draymond Green ain't doing no jump shot, but he'll shoot.
He'll shoot if he open.
Giannis.
Right.
Same thing with Giannis. Everyone build the wall. He's like, all right, well, I'm going 2 for 7. Dude.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you just got the courage to do it.
Yeah, he wouldn't even shoot it. He's kind of. I don't buy the mental health thing, and like I said, you can't. It sucks because you can't disprove it. Yeah, you can't disprove it, and you're not supposed to criticize it because then if something does happen to him, because now you're insensitive or you're not respecting the mental health community. And again, I don't give a shit. This is my podcast, my show. I talk all this shit I want. Some people really have mental health issues. Yes, like, and I empathize with those people. Absolutely. For some people, I mean, I'm just wondering what, like, I know what makes me depressed and what makes me angry and what makes me crazy. I know when I got my businesses is all moving too fast and a lot of stuff is piling up. I know where my mental health issues come from, right? I know that I had some traumatizing things in my childhood, so I know that there's some things that come from that. But I can tell you what, $30 million a year, you'll figure it out. I'm gonna be cool. You'll go cry in a bag of money real quick. I'm gonna be cool, or I'm gonna get the best help possible. Yep, you're right. I'm not gonna come out public and say I'm having mental health issues because I got the #1 therapist in the nation because I could pay $1 million a session if I need to. Very cool. So there's really no excuse. You're right. I with Kyrie, mentioning Kyrie and Draymond as of recent, they flipped off the crowds because the crowds were being assholes, and rightfully so, in my opinion. That bridge between spectator and player. Basketball is the only sport where you're that close to the athlete, right? And obviously we all know the Malice in the Palace and how legendary that was and just all that. I don't think it would ever escalate to that ever again because there's just too much security and too much, But as a basketball player, and just a man, just someone that like, I do believe fans need to understand, like, because some of the shit I've gone to NBA games and all that stuff, and it's funny when hoopers go to NBA games, we really just kind of sit back and just enjoy the hoop. We just enjoy the hoop. But I've been around those fans that talk crazy shit and all that, and I'm like. I look at him like that motherfucker 6'10", 300. Like you wouldn't say none of this to his face unless you had a gun. Okay, now you feel tough because you got a gun. But where do you think this is coming from? Because I don't just maybe the media. I don't know. Access. Access. I think it's just everyone's too accessible. Just remember when you have to wait outside the arena. Yeah. To catch the player driving in and hope that they had right. And that's how you can see them, right? At Arco Arena, I remember those days. Now we seeing them at getting their pregame meal, they're on social media. People recording them. Like there's so much access that I think people feel like they can be entitled, and that's. I mean, I don't disagree with them flipping the crowd. Like,
yeah, me either.
Like you got at some point, you know, and they rich,
right?
They can afford the fine. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you gotta at some point people gotta understand what they're doing, and some stuff is gonna. Basketball is an emotional sport.
It is.
It's a real emotional sport, especially playoff basketball.
Yeah,
especially when you're. Went through everything that Kyrie went through this year, what Brooklyn went through, and they were on the verge of getting swept. And
right.
I mean, you're a hooper.
Yeah.
You know when you can't beat a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough.
They knew they couldn't beat Boston.
Right.
And so that's why all their responses were matching that. And so I think Kyrie and Draymond's responses were, I mean, I think that's what they get. I mean, like the dude on the airplane with Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah, man, that was hilarious.
Play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
For real,
you know what I mean?
And I know you mentioned you're a boxing fan like me. Like I'm for sure a boxing fan. So when I saw Tyson,
I'm like, you can't go. You got to leave people alone,
right?
And everybody's like, oh, Mike Tyson's wrong. He should know better.
Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. Like people, we have to stop making it okay for people to disrespect people. Yeah. We have to start letting people get held accountable, and then that's the only way it's gonna happen.
We live in a culture nowadays where, because there's cameras all over the place, people think
they can
right, you know, like, oh, if y'all have that camera, you're not gonna do nothing because I can take you to jail or all that,
or sue. And then like the judges need to start upholding this stuff too. Like, what you mean? What are you talking to this man like this for on the plane, instead of, oh, well, you know, you can't put your hands on people? That's bullshit, because people need to leave people alone.
We are in a culture where people forget, like back in our day, you could get knocked the fuck out.
Right. Yeah, like you didn't, and that's the thing. So people, it's been where you're so protected now that people, it ain't the same no more. Whereas I remember, like, even just something simple, like for us as kids, we didn't curse in front of old people.
Yeah.
In the grocery store.
Absolutely.
I was in Safeway the other day. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, y'all don't see me standing right here? Like,
they don't.
I'm for sure old enough to be all of y'all daddies.
Right.
Y'all
and they
just don't care.
They don't. They
no
don't.
respect. I think it's just a different culture, man.
Yeah. And for all the great things the internet has done, you know, because I'm not going to sit here act like I'm literally on a podcast, so clearly there's something that's to be said. But yes, we need to start giving back to a few ass whoopings.
And that's what I'm saying. Fans are throwing things.
Yeah,
fans are making comments, and you got family up there.
Yeah,
you got people's kids in the stands. I remember when Paul Westphal coached for the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were on Paul Westphal, and I'd be in the family section, 'cause I was cutting hair, you know, for the team at the time, a couple of players, and I'd be in the family section, and his family would be right here, and there'd be like even the players' family like mad because their family member isn't playing, and the things that they would be saying, and I got caught up in it, you know, for a while, like, man, you know, talking to this person, man, Westphal don't know what he doing,
right,
and then it's just like, there's a lane. There's a lane for everybody to stay in. You know what I mean? And it's just like the fans just feel too entitled.
They need to stop that shit. Well, Steve, thanks for being here, brother. I know we had a lot to talk about, so no, I appreciate you taking the time to do that, man. Again, I want to give a couple quick shout outs real quick. Shout out to Marcus Kirkland. He's going to be doing my show pretty soon as a guest host. Want to give a shout out to Jordan Lewis, Drifty J. Congratulations getting 100 subscribers. You know, he's one of them ball his life type YouTube hoopers, putting Sacramento on the map with that. Also, shout out to DB Bout a Bag. I used to coach him. He's a rapper now. You know, all these kids love him, so I appreciate that, man. But no, man, thanks for being on the show. I do appreciate you taking the time to come out here, dude. Like, I love sitting down talking with basketball. Is there anything left you got to say, or any words of wisdom you want to leave out there?
Nah, nothing left, man. I appreciate you having me. Always love to come and talk hoop, talk business, talk life. I appreciate that.
No problem. Again, I'm gonna have links to his social media, to Steve's social media, his barbershop. I suggest hit him up, man. Especially if you're in the Sacramento area, learn from out there. You know, I'm really trying to be more. I want to try to get more guys like this on the show for you guys to see it, because there are people in our community out here making some moves, and I think more and more people need to see that and know that, you know, beyond basketball, we can do and make a lot of things happen. Shout out to my last sponsor, Hidden Treasures Cannabis. They got some good cannabis out there. Yes, in California, you know, our weed is legal, so they got some good stuff out there. Hit them up. Their links will be in the description. Shout out to also Mark. I know you're doing your thing, man, with GGT, and you're out there training and doing your stuff. So hopefully you'll be back on the show sometime soon. Everybody be safe out there. Also, follow my cameraman, Joe. He has Mirrors Media. He's doing a phenomenal job with the show, and follow the links to the other side shows like Coach's Rise Time and stuff. Thank you for listening. Know that you're great. If you're supporting and you're hitting that subscribe button, I really appreciate you. Even if you're not, thank you for taking the time to get to the end of the show, and everybody be safe.